Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, February the 11th, 2020. I'm Brett, your Thankful Carnivore, and this is today's Thankful Carnivore Report. I hope you folks had a wonderful weekend and a fantastic Monday. I certainly had a great weekend. Work yesterday was a challenge as always, but I got a great workout out of it. And I'm very thankful to be employed now after decades of being unable to work due to mental illness, all the symptoms of which were kicked to the curb by eating meat and drinking water. Please remember, my friends, you could get a 30-minute coaching session from meetrx.com for under 20 bucks. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me ramble about things related to the carnivore way of eating I find interesting and worthwhile. Please check me out across my social media, thankful.carnivore on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Thankful Carnivore. I really want to thank you, YouTube watchers, subscribers. You guys have been wonderful with the comments. I'm so excited by what's going on with the YouTube channel here lately. And y'all really, truly blessed me with your support. Please keep those comments coming. They're wonderful for me. They just really, really keep me going. They genuinely do. And that kind of dovetails with what I want to talk about today. Uh, this is talks entitled Goodness Returned. And I had this beautiful blessing, and I mentioned it briefly the other day. I was interviewed 8 months ago by Ivor Cummins. And Ivor does a lot of interviews. And most of his interviews are not N equals one type situations, but they're academics, they're medical professionals, they're researchers, they're published, credentialed people. And so it was really special to be interviewed by Ivor because I'm none of those things. uh, I'm just a fortunate human being who's it's my vocation now to share my experience so that other people could find hope. But this talk, even though it was 8 months ago, and I could tell I hadn't put on this, hadn't built the same muscle then that I have now. Somebody who saw the interview commented about how incredibly skinny and small I look, and they were right. I'm still skinny, but I'm not small anymore. I don't believe that's a wonderful thing. But my point is this interview, it was a really great experience, and because Ivor is such an outstanding host and a top shelf individual, I mean, Ivor's a good man. He does a lot of good for a lot of people every day just because he wants to. He's an engineer. I'm sure he could make a lot more income doing engineer work than he could doing what he's doing now. That's just a guess. I don't know. My point is he's putting good out into the world for the sake of other people's well-being. And that's so important. And that's one of the reasons why it was such a great discussion, because when you're interviewed by somebody like that, it comes out in their questions and how they respond to your answers. And the comments that I've received privately and publicly from this interview have so warmed my heart. You have no idea. It has been just a blessing after blessing after blessing, kindness after kindness for the last few days now. And it's such a beautiful, I see, this is how I define a successful interview. It's not by the viewer count. You know, if 30,000 people see me give talk and describe my story, and only two out of that 30,000 were felt moved enough to write a kind note and thank me, I probably didn't do a very good job in that interview, because my job when I do these interviews, my job, my goal, it's a better word, my goal is to let people know you don't have to suffer anymore, that you don't have to continue this disease management nonsense in your own life, that you could take control and create your own health by changing what you put into your mouth. Now, that's always my number one goal. And I've learned over these last 18 months. I mean, I'm like, in the beginning, I was like everybody else. Oh, geez, 11,000 people have heard that talk. That's great. And it is good, because the more people who hear it, the more, or see it, the more people who get the opportunity to find hope. But I quickly learned, while that's important, that's not what's valuable. The goodness coming back is what's valuable. Because I'm going to admit it, I'm a human being. There have been times when doing this has been rather frustrating. Like I was beating my head up against the wall. And, we've got the issues of shadow banning and post restrictions that these social media platforms employ to repress ideas that don't conform with their overreaching ideologies. And we see that from time to time, and it's frustrating. But each and every time that I have had the thought, well, geez, I'm going to stop wasting so much time on Instagram, and I'm going to spend more time on Twitter, more of my energy on Twitter, or vice versa. Or I'm going to just get rid of Facebook and forget Facebook and just deal with Instagram and Twitter. Inevitably, every time I've done that, every time I felt that way, somebody or several somebodies have sent me these beautiful, heartwarming, gosh, I wish I could give you a hug messages from people who are just thankful themselves that they now have found some hope for their own health and future. And as somebody who lived for decades with no hope at all, it is the greatest gift I can receive now. Literally, it is so wonderful when you folks do that for me. Because you deserve to be hopeful. You're not broken. You're not some genetically unlucky person. You didn't, it wasn't you who caused you deliberately to be ill. It was ignorance. We were taught to eat the wrong things. We were taught to consume toxins under the guise of it being healthy. And even now, companies are selling products that say heart healthy on it, when the opposite is actually true. That's how sorely misinformed we were. So you didn't screw up. You didn't make mistakes. You didn't fail. You were just misinformed. Ignorance is not a crime in this situation. My point is, because of social media, because of the power of our N equals 1 experiences, because of the stories we share, stop and think of how many millions of people's lives have been positively affected just from Michaela Peterson by herself, just from Dr. Sean Baker by himself, and countless other people in the community who are doing fabulous work just to help others, just so others won't suffer anymore. You have a story to share that's powerful and will give hope to others. Don't hoard that story. It's important to remember, kindness delivered leads to kindness returned. Don't forget. Don't forget that. It's just too important. My friends, So much goodness is being put out into the world every day. This Thursday, I'm having an opportunity to be interviewed for the Low Carb MD podcast. I'm really looking, these are two good men, two outstanding doctors, Dr. Brian, Dr. Tro. I'm really pleased. And Saturday, I'm blessed again. Unfortunately, I don't, the person who's hosting me and having me on their podcast hasn't even told me their name of the podcast. I don't care. It's a chance to share my story and put more good out into the world. And thanks be to God, I'm able to do that. Listen, my friends, do the things you need to do to take care of you today. Put your goodness out into the world. Deliver kindness to somebody who needs it. It's going to come back to you 1,000-fold if you do, and it will be valuable to you as a person. Eat your meat, drink your water. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Always remember, you've got something to be thankful for. See you tomorrow.